I know you're expecting Steph Lee today, but she had an appointment. So I'm stepping in. I'm April from HAR, and I'm super excited to be here. We have a wonderful webinar, which, by the way, ladies, I love the title of this webinar. It's WTF, I have a travel business, now what? And the WTF doesn't stand for what you think it does, although it could. It means where to focus, which is so true. And I'm sure a lot of people have that same question, right? So first, I'd like to introduce Lori Speers from Levarte Travel. She is no stranger to HAR. She's been on many Friday 15s, and we love having her and all of her knowledge and how wonderful she is. So Lori, it's such a pleasure to have you here. How are you?
I am great. And thank you so much, April, for having me. I think that's funny how you had to say, don't change your dials. It's not Steph Lee, it's April. But I love it when you and I get to do these as well. April, you're just so joyful and so much fun. And thank you for having us. Yeah, what a neat title, huh? WTF, I own a travel business. Now what? Where to focus. And I got the honor to invite 3 of our great advisors to come on board with us today to share some of their personal experiences, because I believe when you hear from the actual person that's in the moment where to focus and really hear, we have some great questions for them, and then you may have some questions too. It's going to help you to find out where you need to focus. Let me introduce who I have. Is that good, April?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, good. First, I have Christy Hawk. Raise your hand. Okay, Christy, a seasoned travel advisor with Levarte Travel. She brings a wealth of knowledge and passion to the industry. She's been traveling since she was a child and then started her own travel business in 2016. Well, she got in the industry in 2016, started her own business, Hawk Vacations, in 2020. And with more than 7 years of experience, she is doing exceptional journeys for individuals, couples, families, and groups. And her expertise is creating unforgettable vacations. So that's Christy. And then we have Tamika McRae. Raise your hand, Tamika. Yes. She's the owner of Live for a Lifetime Travel. She curates unforgettable vacations for over 2 decades. And in 2018, she decided to make it her business. I see, to me, that's so exciting. And whether it's an all-inclusive Caribbean getaway, destination wedding honeymoon, a romantic getaway, group land or cruise, and I know she has her groups, she takes pride in personalizing every vacation for her clients to create a memory that will live for a lifetime. The name of her agency. Isn't that so cool? And then we have Shakina Hilton, and her agency is the Hilton Way. I think that's so cute. And I really find Shakina very interesting. In 2018, she took a leap of faith and transformed her passion into professionalism and became a travel advisor. And she also is a military spouse. So, as a military spouse, it's taught her the beauty of adaptability for sure, the power of forging connections across diverse cultures. And then she's had the privilege of turning those challenges and opportunities into adventures for her clients, whether they're seeking a thrill of exotic escapade or comfort of a relaxing getaway. She's going to help you make your travel dreams a reality. I love it. Isn't that exciting?
Welcome, everyone. That's great. One thing I want to note for our listeners is if you have any questions throughout the webinar, put those in the comments. And at the end of the webinar, we're going to answer all those questions. So don't be shy. We love questions. So as we're going along, ask those questions. And now, Lori, I know you have the first question for our panel. So let's get started.
I do. And I'm going to ask 2. First, I'm going to start with Tamika. And I'm going to ask, what is something you would have done differently in your business if you were starting over today?
If I were starting over today, it would really go back to the title of the session today. I would have figured out where to focus. I would have moved into my niche a lot sooner as opposed to trying to be the jack of all trades and master of none. So I spent a lot of time in the beginning trying to be everything to everybody and accommodate every travel request. And it's just not possible. It's also not beneficial to your clients. So I definitely would have zoned in on my specialties a lot sooner.
Oh, good one. Isn't that the truth, though?
Right.
And everyone, that's why we try to train at Levarte to do that from the beginning. But it is something you kind of have to learn yourself. So I appreciate you sharing that. I have the same question for you, Christy.
Well, that's hard to follow, Tamika's answer, because that was pretty good. But for me, I would say I'm going to also play on the title of where to focus. And I would have done more research on the host agencies that are out there and making sure that I was selecting one that aligned with my professional goals as a travel advisor.
Perfect. And that's just a little plug, because you know where you would do that research, right? Is at host agency reviews. So they're such a great source of information for anyone that's out there thinking, which host agency do I in line with? You can go to their catalog of host agencies and read about those. Excellent. Okay, now I know you're the next question, April, but I just want to say I said a name wrong, and I say it wrong every time, and I practiced before this. I'm so sorry. It's Shakina, right?
Yes, Sakina.
Okay,
Yes,
sorry, Shakina.
it's fine.
I'm gonna say it wrong. I do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm literally the worst, and I'm glad you actually said it, because I was just like, oh, I probably should have asked before the webinar that I was pronouncing everybody's names correct. So
Even the
sorry,
simplest
trust me.
names, even the simplest names, I do this. It's like a joke around our office. I'm so bad. It's embarrassing. Sorry.
No, that's great. All right, so next question, and I'm going to ask Sakina first. What benefit is helpful that Levarte offers that has helped you grow your business?
Training. That was the easiest question when I saw training. I was able to do my first training in with Levarte in Texas that just passed, and I felt like I was smiling the whole time because of the amount of information we receive. So, and then Lori does training every week. I mean, seriously, it's the best. So it's training. It's the easiest, easiest question ever. Training.
Great. Glad to hear that.
And poor Christy keeps going second to everyone. So it's your turn, Christy.
It's quite all right. I would say the agent support, because it does extend further than just the training. The support team that Levarte has on staff, they're phenomenal. The responsiveness to any email, support ticket, you're getting same day, within a lot of times within the hour, you're getting a response back from the team, and you just know you're not at it alone. You have the whole team at Levarte in the office supporting you, there to answer your questions. They have a mentor desk if you get stuck on something and you need guidance. It's the training is awesome, but so is the support behind the scenes for anything that we need. And that has definitely been a game changer for me in my business and elevating to the next level.
Awesome.
I love to hear all that. I mean, you don't realize how important it is, especially a lot of people that are getting into this industry that don't know it as well as others, to be able to first off have that training and be able to really learn about the industry, and then having a support system of peers and people that can really help you. So, I mean, that's just a wonderful thing to have, and super proud to hear that from the agents.
Yes, I think that's great. I think too, support is something you have to look for in a host agency, because sometimes the people are selling travel too, and the support isn't just there for the advisors. At Levarte, all of our staff is here just for you and to help you. And of course, helping each other. I love that part too.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to my next question. Compared to and this is going to go, I'm going to ask Christy first. Okay. I went out of order because I want to make her first. Compared to the previous hosts or any host you've been to in the past, what is different at Levarte that's helped you become more successful?
It really goes hand in hand with my last answer. Just knowing that Levarte is focused on agents who are advising and selling travel, that's where the focus is. We know that there are some agencies that have a variety of areas of focus in their business structure. And I just felt like with my previous agency, there wasn't enough focus on helping me become a better travel advisor. The focus was on different levels of their business model, and I just wasn't getting what I needed. And the minute I contacted Levarte and expressed interest, like Lori was on the phone with me right away. And Lori will always say, I am only here to support my selling advisors. We will only focus on travel advisors selling travel. And that has been huge for me. And when I joined, it just felt like I was coming home. I knew I was in the right place, and I was upset that it took me so long to move over to Levarte with Lori and the staff. But everything has just been so much stronger, connectedness, support, community. It's been wonderful. Exactly what I needed.
Excellent. Wow. That I'm just going to start blushing. Makes me feel good. But I have the same question. We were going to ask each of you the same question. So Tamika, what would be your response?
I think we're going to start sounding like a broken record.
I know.
It's only because Levarte does such an amazing job at training and equipping their advisors to be successful agents. I was in with a previous host agency that, like Christy said, their focus was spread thin across other things. And all I wanted to do was sell travel. So coming over to Levarte was like, this is what I've needed. I needed training focused on travel. That's what I want to do, is sell travel. And the exposure. I always say that Lori is our secret weapon because she knows everybody in the industry. So the exposure at Levarte is amazing, from fam trips to vendor opportunities, meeting BDMs, which help with building your business, rubbing elbows with the right people and making the right connections, have all been tremendously beneficial to taking my business to the next level. And I was actually with the previous agency longer than I've been with Levarte, and my business instantly doubled once I switched over. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so good to hear. That's what makes me happy. So Shanika, I'm sorry, I said your name wrong again. Tina, what would be yours?
I was like Tamika said, it's gonna be a broken record. But my biggest thing is which is the last thing that Tamika said, is as far as my sales and the increase in my commission from coming to Levarte. It almost tripled because we have great support. Like, I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's just the support. And it's not just the support from Lori, but it's from Lori, her team, and other advisors. With our Facebook page, you can go on and ask a question. And I mean, in seconds, you have the answers to these questions, which is even more great for me because we're getting training from all different places. So it's amazing. And like everybody said, it's Lori. I mean,
Yeah.
I've called Lori, and she has helped me with a lot of things. And I mean, Levarte is not just, for me, Levarte is not just a host agency. To me, it's a family. And that's how Lori treats all of her advisors. So, I mean, I think I'm not going to say I think, I know that I will be with Levarte till death do us part.
Oh, yay. My favorite thing is how people are talking about how they've increased, because to me, you making this profitable for you is the bottom line, and you selling more travel and doubling and tripling. That's the important part. Awesome.
So I have the next question, and clearly I'm going to be a little biased to this question, but I'm going to direct it towards Lori. So, Lori, what industry partner do you find most valuable? Who would it be and why? For example, CLIA, ASTA, the Travel Institute, and host agency reviews. No pressure, Lori. No pressure.
I know, right? Ooh, what should I say? No, I'm kidding. Actually, host agency review has the advisors here are talking about how they've done so much better having Levarte. Levarte has moved in the industry because of host agency
Aw.
review and your support, and not only the support but your resources of information. Anyone out there, if you don't know about this, if you just go to their site and you use that little search bar for anything, how to do taxes, uh, anything, any question you might have about having your own business, they have just so much information. I don't know who sits and loads all this information all the time. April, if it's you, whoever it is, it's so much and it's so wonderful. And the support is great. But I also believe in all of the organizations. So I'm going to also add that we are in line with all of them because they all offer continuing education and certification that makes you stand apart. The Travel Institute offers the CTA program, the CTIE program. They have a great trip kit program starting in the industry. I totally believe in their travel training, as well as ASTA also has that. And we're premier premium agency with ASTA. I attend all their meetings, do all their stuff. And CLIA, of course, we are very tight with CLIA, and CLIA has lots of certifications. As we are so connected with CLIA and believe in their training that when our advisors join CLIA, once they complete the 4 free courses that are offered because we're a premier agency, we reimburse 50% of their membership. Because I know when you take those courses, you're going to sell more travel. You know, it's documented. So I'm in line with all of them, but of course, my favorite is host agency review.
And we did not pay her to say that. But no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it really is a group effort in expanding and learning from different platforms. So no, I really couldn't agree more. Wonderful. And Lori, so you have the next question.
Okay, so the next question is for Tamika. What is the first thing you tell someone if they ask you about becoming a travel advisor? And also about Levarte Travel, but also about becoming an advisor, because remember our topic is where to focus, and let's not forget about that. So,
All right. So first I ask, are they serious? I think that the industry, sometimes agents get a bad rep because there's a lot of travel agents that may not be serious about their business. So some people have bad experiences with ill-informed advisors or advisors that are not well trained. So I always ask,
oh no, we lost Tamika. I bet she'll come back. So I had 2 people down for that question anyway. So I'm gonna ask Oscar also. I'm gonna ask you, Shakina also.
What? Is she coming back? Okay.
Okay, you want me to say it again? What's the first thing you tell someone if you're asking them, or if they're asking you about becoming a travel advisor?
Got you. So first, I would ask, have they been shopping first? If they've been shopping for other host agencies, have you looked into host agencies? Do you understand what it means to be a travel agent? I feel that coming into it, what they see is, oh, I'm going to sell travel and I'm going to go on trips for free. That's how everyone sells being a travel agent, and don't know all of the back work that we do, the pains, the struggles, the flights being canceled. So that's my biggest thing, and explaining to them what it is. What do I go through on a day to day? Why I love it. There are things that, people don't realize that we do, and the time that we put in. This is not a 9 to 5, more like a 12 to 11. So those are the biggest things that I ask if someone is asking about being a travel agent. And then, of course, when they say, well, I'm interested and I want to be a travel agent, I'm like, well, then you have to come to Levarte because that's the only place for you to go if you want to be successful. So for me,
I like your reason if you want to be successful.
right.
I like that.
And I
Mhm.
mean, that is really how I go into it because, like I said, I see a lot of people that do promote becoming a travel agent with them and under them. You want to travel for free, but people understand, yes, that is a perk that we have, but we have to put in a lot of work to get to that point, and understanding that it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Getting that first sale is, a little hard, but we can do it, but it's gonna, it's gonna be some work put in.
Perfect.
I'd like to add to that too, that they have to keep in mind that most travel advisors are business owners as well. It's not
Right.
just a job that you apply for, it's your own business. So you're putting in that extra effort too,
And
which is to me
you.
super rewarding to be an entrepreneur and be able to, create your own business. But I think that's a great point to add in as well.
I think so too, April. Thank you for that. And that's why a lot of our training too is on business.
Mm,
And because a lot of people need a little help because maybe they've never had their own business. So we also provide a lot of that as well.
that's wonderful.
Is it my turn or yours? I'm
Oh,
lost.
no, it's my turn. Sorry. I was so caught up in the moment. Let's see. We have, how long did it take you to make your first booking from when you launched your travel business? I'm going to start with Sakina first.
I launched my travel business about 2 months into us being shut down for
Oh
COVID.
my gosh. Woo!
So literally my first year was basically learning and doing training and getting more information. But right outside of COVID, when they opened the world back up, I was able to do my first booking to Jamaica. So literally as soon as we opened up.
It was almost kind of a great time to start.
It
And I know that
was.
sounds a little crazy, but it
No,
kind of
but
gave
you're
you
right.
to relax, don't worry about the bookings as much, get your training, get your business up and running, get all that back, the web, if you have a website, your social media and everything. So as much as we all hear 2020 and we're like, oh,
Right.
it was actually a great time to start. So that's great to hear. Tamika, welcome back. Sorry for the technical difficulties, right?
Of course, of course.
So I'm going to ask you the same question. I will repeat it because I don't think you heard it.
I did. I got you.
Oh, okay, perfect. So if you want to jump right in.
Yeah. So for me, it actually wasn't long, only because I had previously been booking travel for family and friends and just not being compensated for it. So once I started my business, it was like, hey, so now I'm going to get paid to do this.
Yeah.
So I was able to jump in pretty quickly, specifically with family and friends. But then it did take some time to generate business from people that I did not know.
Okay. Wonderful. And I know, Christy, I know you're not on this question, but I'd love to hear because I know you started your business in 2020, correct? I believe that's what I heard when Lori had but I know you were in travel previously, but then opened your business in 2020. What was your experience?
So I joined my previous host in 2016. So that's when I started. I joined Lori in 2022. Yeah, right at the end of 2022. But when I started in 2016, it didn't take long because I had friends and family knowing that I was starting my journey as a travel advisor. But I have to say, my first booking paid out a whole commission of $8. It was a hotel only commission, but you have to start somewhere, right? And then, friends and family and the word started spreading. And then I had an all-inclusive booking in Aruba, and then it just kind of grew from there. But so don't get discouraged. I was excited for the small win. The first booking got under my belt, and then things just took off from there.
Yeah, I mean, I always and correct me if you think differently, but I always like to use realtors as an example. They do such a great job of marketing themselves to their friends, their family, and letting people know, like, I'm a realtor, you need to sell a house, I'm your person. And now, don't get me wrong, how often do you really sell your house? But at the same time, like, I have friends that I literally, when I think of if I were to sell my house, who would I go to? Because I know these people are realtors. So for travel advisors, I almost feel like it should be the same way, where you are marketing to your friends and your family and letting them know you're a travel advisor. So that way, if they're looking to take vacations or they have friends or family that they want that might be taking a vacation, you know what I mean? Like, I always kind of like to relate those two, because I think that industry really has it made as far as learning how to market themselves. And travel advisors should be doing, and most travel advisors do, but should be doing the same thing as far as constantly posting it. So
Can I?
I
wanna say-
agree.
I'm sorry.
Friends and family do not always make the best clients.
Absolutely.
But they give great referrals, you know?
They
So
do.
I'll take that.
They do. They were screaming from the mountaintops. But I did want to say one thing, because for everybody it is different. Some people that come into travel, they really have not sold travel. They haven't done anything but booking for themselves. So one of the things that I did, because for me, when I go into business, I want to bring the business to me, and I'm gonna find a way to do it if it's not coming.
Mhm.
So have a do a trip on your own. Create a group trip on your own. That's a way to get business and to put your name out there. One of mine is called the Black Military Couples Travel, and I do that annually. We started with 18 couples, and we just keep doubling every year. But because I do that, I get referrals from those people, and you do stuff like that, and as well as reaching out to event planners. They are the best friends to have because they do destination weddings. So that's other things that you can do, just to get your name out there as well.
I love that idea. What a great idea and a great pro tip.
Yeah, very good. We do a training when agents are new to the industry. And one of the first things we say is, does everyone know you're a travel advisor? Does everyone know you're a travel agent that knows you?
Yeah.
Because I bet you they don't. And why not?
Mhm.
Why not? Because you're talking about how real estate, everyone knows she's selling real estate. Everyone should know that you're also selling travel.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people don't always tell everyone. So that is the number one way to get clients as well.
Yeah.
So this leads right into another question that I really like too. Do you offer any repeat incentives for customers to book a second time? If so, what's worked for you the best? And I'm going to start with Shakina.
I do. So I do charge a travel planning fee for running this. Lori pops me on my hand about this all the time. I do a planning fee, but if you book more than one trip and you are a returning client and you're doing it every year, after that, I don't charge a fee because I'm guaranteed the business. And this is just something that I do. So it's different for everyone else, as well as referrals. When they do referrals, I implemented a referral program, but for my loyal clients, I don't charge them a fee more than once within a year. And majority of my clients are like, they do the big luxury trips. So I don't mind it because I know that I'm guaranteed to book them. So that is one of the things that I do for my repeat clients.
Very good. Very good. Christy, what do you do?
I currently do not have anything in place for my repeat clients. Separate from Sakina, I noticed that with my fees, I wasn't charging my repeat client, the clients who I could always count on actually following through and making the reservation and taking the travel. But recently, there's a lot of businesses and companies out there that are trying to undercut agents. So they've been kind of stealing my clients out from under my nose. So I'm actually going to change that approach, but I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say about this because I don't have anything for repeat clients, but I do have something in place for referrals.
It is an excellent topic. Tamika, do you have anything in place?
I actually do not, except for the same thing as Sakina. So I do charge a service fee, but for my repeat clients, I waive it. So that's probably the only thing that I do for return clients.
See that? I think that's just another place that we could explore on some different things to do. And probably I'm just sparked now for another training and getting some ideas to everyone because I've heard of several. We do wave camps 3 times a year at Levarte, and I heard several different suggestions last wave camp that people did for their returning clients. So this just tells me this is an area we can expand on. Mhm.
All right, so switching topics. Here we go. How often do you reach out to your customers? And how do you do it when you reach out to them? Do you use email, text, calls? So want to hear from Tamika first.
So I actually use our CRM that's provided by Levarte.
Nice.
And on the intake form, it asks how they want to be communicated with via text, email, or phone.
Oh, nice.
So I actually tailor it based on what my clients say.
Mhm.
I deal with a wide range of clients. So I have a lot of millennials that only want to communicate via text. And they only want to communicate when they're booking, when they have to pay, and when it's time to go. But then I have some clients, like I actually have one client that does a family reunion trip, a cruise, and she doesn't use technology at all. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So I physically mail her stuff, and
Wow.
it's always a phone call. So I really try to tailor it based on my client's needs. Some clients need extra hand holding. So they want a check-in. If I do groups, I do send my group leads an update every Friday. They know that on Friday they're going to get an update of who's booked in their group and where they're at. But I really try to personalize it based on my client's needs.
Love that. Sakina, next. What do you think? What do you do?
I think everybody's just like Sakina's going to do it any way she can, whether it's smoke signals on a roof, text
Little pigeons with messages.
but one of my biggest forums would be my Facebook group. I do have the Hilton Way travel group, text message, emails, any way I can communicate, I'm going to communicate. Social media, Facebook, Instagram,
Love it.
Twitter, anything that I can communicate, I will. And then if after I do my group trips, of course, I'm going to send the show videos. I'm gonna do the pictures, and majority of the time when I do that, I get the DMs and the text message. Oh, you didn't invite me. So the next time I do my group, I'm either texting you or I'm DMing you the booking link. Say, okay, I told you this time, so you should be there. So I mean, any way that I can reach out, that's how I'm reaching out.
I like it. And Christy.
I would say all of the above as well. And then I also do have clients that prefer to meet in person. So when you're a home-based agent, I offer them to meet at a local coffee shop. I mean, I have some repeat clients that are, someone posted in the chat box, you're something about like your friends and your clients become your friends faster than your friends become your clients. Some of my clients offer to take me to lunch to meet with them, to go over their travel plans and figure out their itinerary. So it's the same, whatever format you can reach them in that they prefer is best. I'm thinking about it in relation to the topic though, where to focus. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, was that a text? Was that an email? Was that a Facebook message? Where was that information? So that's a little bit to juggle as well and keep track of where you're communicating with all of your clients.
Yeah, it is. And it's okay to just say, this is how I communicate. Personally, I have a really hard time communicating on Facebook Messenger because it will get lost. So I like to have places I know I'm going to see it for sure. But yeah, good answers. Awesome. Very good. I'm going to go to our next question, which is a real fun one. On average, how many hours do you spend working on booking a client? Woo, I know that's a wide range. Christy, I'll start with you.
I wish I had a specific number, but it really depends on the type of vacation they're looking for. If it's an all-inclusive, I can pretty much knock that out in my sleep. But if you're looking at multi-destination cities in Europe, that's going to take a lot of time to research, putting together their itinerary, packaging it together nicely. Shout out to Travify for helping us present beautiful itineraries and proposals to our clients. But that all takes a lot of time. Europe, I find Europe to be my longest amount of time that I spend. So I would say researching and putting the itinerary together for Europe trips, easily 5 hours, maybe all inclusives. If I already have it built in Travify, I can probably get that out in 45 minutes. And that's after my phone consultation with the client, which is also 45 minutes. So, and then there's all the stuff that comes after, you know, the ongoing communication, preparing their travel documents. The time just adds up. And I was at a training recently and they asked, how many times do you think you touch a booking after you make it? How many touch points? And it's on average 20. So you're working on that trip 20 times from start to finish.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Very good. What would you say your answer would be to that, Tamika?
I pretty much the same with Christy. There's some things that we can just do in our sleep. Cruises, I can do in my sleep. Like I can turn that over instantly. The Caribbean, especially destinations that I'm popular with, I'm familiar with, which is why I love FAMs, because it helps you get familiar with the resort. So if I have someone that says they want adults only, they're looking for their foodie, then I know exactly which resorts to go to because I've been to these destinations. So it takes a lot of pre-work because we spend a lot of time traveling and doing the research so that on the back end, we're very familiar with them. So we can kind of spit them out quickly. I'm like you, Christy, I have a client that wants to go to Greece and she wants to go to 3 islands, fly to 2 of them, do the ferry to 1, and she has specific hotels. So that's going to take a lot of time to curate and put together. So it really varies, just depending on what they're looking to do.
It really does. And it does help if you've been there. And that's why we try to do the fam trips. Yeah. But even if you haven't been there, I sold Hawaii for years before I went. I sold Europe for 20 years before I went. So you can research and get yourselves, educated. I'm actually going to Doha in October. And I'm doing a lot of research on just what I can wear and not wear. So, yeah, so I can see where a lot of touch points and a lot of research. Shanika, what's your answer to that?
Is that the Michael Jackson song where it's like working day and night? Because I feel like that's what it is. I don't have a number. So full-time job for me, I'm a quality auditor. So I am very particular about information and providing all of the information, making sure when I provide the information, I'm cross-checking what I'm giving you and spellings and numbers and all of that stuff. And then that's just the first part. I mean, then we have, going back and, looking at what your client is asking for and trying to give them that best curated trip, as well as pushing out some, I guess, ones that I would like to show them as well, that they're like, because I do have clients that come to me and say, this is what I want. I want to go to this hotel. And sometimes I'm thinking, I know you, I know the type of hotels you like. I don't think this is what you want. And so showing them and comparing those things, like, this is what you're asking for. This is what I'm giving you. And sometimes I'm here up until 11 o'clock at night doing things. So, I mean, ballpark on one, I would say the individual trips will probably be the ones that are the easiest for me, whether, it's Greece or Caribbean, because it's just for a family or 2 people. So those, you have that one-on-one. Group trips, I feel like that's about a 2-day thing with everything. But I mean, I really don't have a ballpark number because each client is different. Each trip is different.
And that's a good answer right there. That's a really good answer. What I'd like to point out to everyone listening is every one of these ladies has a full-time job other than being a travel advisor. But look at them, and having heard them, look how serious they are about their travel business and take it seriously as well. So this is something you can do. You know, it takes time to build your travel business to the place you want to build it to, where it is your full-time job at the money you want to make. It doesn't happen overnight. We talk about that a lot, but it can. And some people, I think, Tamika, you also have a full-time job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I do IT work full time. So travel, I always tell people I work 2 full-time jobs. So I'm not always available for brunch.
How many are trying to make it where it's your only? Yeah. And that's the goal. And that's the goal. And it can get there. But in our industry, it takes time. We're not paid until after they travel, first of all. So that's the number one reason. And number two, you need to build your clientele to get it at where you want it to be, to not have it, you know, until you're ready and comfortable for it to be your full time. But that doesn't mean that you don't still take it as a business and take it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, going off of that, we just finished our, not to do a shameless plug, but we just finished our travel agent survey, and it has some great information in there about when you start really seeing the income coming in, and going from, most people do start part-time and have that full-time job just to get this going, and then we'll eventually make this full-time. So there's some great information in there. But one thing I do want to say too, that Lori had mentioned during this discussion, when you were talking about your trip and you're researching what to wear, I mean, people don't understand, like, travel advisors don't just book a trip and say, hey, go here, here, here. They're researching the culture for you, what you should wear, where to go, and why. And I mean, it's more than just a trip. They're really giving you a whole background on your destination, which is so important, because if you're just going to book a trip yourself and you're going to go, I don't know, France or anywhere in Europe, you might not know the culture there and what's appropriate. I know there's I forget where it is, but it's illegal to wear camouflage. Like, so it's that kind of stuff that travel advisors really bring that quality to the job. So, you know, kudos to the ladies here and all the travel advisors watching, because again, it's not just about booking a trip, it's about everything that comes with it. So I thought that was a great point that you made, Laurie.
I also saw somebody was asking, like, how do you manage them both? And one of the things that I really, really had to understand with getting in the business is that you really need to have boundaries, clear boundaries, set boundaries, because I've had people calling me 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 a.m. Set those boundaries. One of the things that I did that was actually free, that a lot of people don't know, is for my business phone, I use Google Voice. It's free. You connect it. The calls come to your phone. So what I did is I set the caller ID. So the caller ID says the Hilton Way. So I know, okay, after 5, do not answer this call. I'm still working on boundaries, because I do answer them when I'm on vacation. But setting boundaries is really important, because some of your clients don't care.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother topic and another training in itself. Not just business, but personal, right?
I'm seeing another webinar happening, to be quite honest.
Oh, I know. I've already gotten so many great training ideas just from talking today. This has been so much fun.
So next question, we're getting a little, in my time, it's 1:44. So we're getting a little closer. Hopefully we can get the next 2 questions, because I know we have a lot of questions that came in. So I definitely want to get to those, but super quick.
Yeah.
We kind of touched upon this earlier, but do you charge consultation fees or service fees? And I'm going to ask everybody this. And because Christy, we haven't really started with you first, I'm going to start with you first this time.
Thank you. I use Calendly to manage my consultations. So I keep my schedule updated there, and that helps with the boundaries, Sakina. So they're working with my schedule. They can only sign up for a time that also works for me, which allows me to have some work time as well between my 2 jobs. So the consultation is free. And then at the end of the consultation, hopefully during our discussion, they're finding my value. That's when I present my service fee. I send them a recap email of everything we discussed. It includes my terms and conditions and further explanation about my non-refundable service fee. I have mine structured into tiers based on how complicated their travel plans might be. So for 1 to 5 rooms, it's a smaller fee. If you're talking about a larger group or a destination wedding, it will be even more. But that has really helped me a lot to focus in on the clients who are serious about following through with the travel plans. So instead of spinning my wheels and helping all these people and only some are following through with the reservation, I've been able to spend my time on serious travelers. And so it's putting extra money in my pocket, but it's also allowing me to be a better customer service agent because I have the time to spend on them. I know they're serious, they're following through. So I started my service fees, and some of my clients were like, "You're not charging enough. Like, stop selling yourself short. Charge more, increase your fees." But I felt like I wanted to start somewhere to know what people would be willing to pay, and I probably will increase going into the new year.
Perfect.
But it's been a game changer for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tamika?
I agree with Christy. Same here. I was not charging for a long time and I was constantly dishing out quotes. And I realized I'm way too valuable for this. Because if I'm just sending out quotes to people that are just chasing after the lowest price, that means that I'm not spending time servicing my clients that are actually traveling. And I have limited time. So business is to a point where I actually turn down business because there's only so many hours in a day. And I don't want to get to a place where I'm not providing the service that I've promised to my clients because I'm trying to chase down every dollar. So the service fee helps eliminate those people that are not serious. And it's you have to know your own value. So we invest our own money traveling to destinations to learn about them. We do trainings, we do certifications. Like I'm headed to Minneapolis this weekend to do more training. I just spent a week in Antigua. So there's value in what I bring. So we have to set the standards that, hey, it's worth it. And the people, like Christy said, those that know, they don't complain. They quickly pay it.
And Sakina?
I charge a service fee. I call it travel planning fee. I charge, Lori. I'm charging. Lori doesn't like that. Okay, I do non-refundable. However, with my service fee, what I have been doing, which I'm looking into changing it, if you do book, I would apply that fee to your booking. And of course, if you don't, it's not refundable. Mine is like Christy is based on the amount. So, individual, just example, because I did see someone asking, I do 50 for individual, which is just a couple. And then as the sizes of the groups, I go up from starting from 150 and up based on the size of the groups. In the beginning, I did not charge because at that time I felt like I still needed more training. I wasn't there. But then I realized once I did start charging, my clientele increased.
Yes.
People were serious. The people that were coming in, the clients, they were serious about travel. And I realized the ones that were just price checking, they're not willing to pay that $50 because they know they're not going to receive it back. So it, was able to wean out the ones that weren't serious about booking. But I do believe that having a travel planning fee helps a lot with prioritizing clients and business.
Excellent. I just love these ladies.
Right?
I just need to tell them. I do. And what great answers. And remember, they haven't been in the industry that long, and look at all that they know already and have learned.
So Lori, we're at that 10-minute mark and we have lots of questions. So I was going to jump into some questions. You ready, lady, for some quick fire questions? Little improv. Here we go. So Brittany, this is from Brittany. How do you manage marketing your new or established business while learning all there is to learn in the industry?
I'll take it. Instagram, social media is your friend. As much as people don't like it, they like seeing you. They like to see you travel. I started with Instagram. And with Instagram, I was just using photos from, stock photos is what they call them. I use stock photos. It wasn't until I started, and I have to say, Tamika is one of the ones that said, girl, no, you need to get in one of those pictures. We went to our Lyft. It was at Lyft. And she's like, no, get in this picture. Let me take a picture. And it's crazy because once I started getting in those pictures and video of my trips and people seeing me travel, it really spiked clientele. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and anything you can think of, use it. And website. People love to see your credentials. It's like when you just put on I see that people, when you just do your social media, it's good, but they like to see, like, do this person really have a website? Where are their credentials? Are they on Google? So I did register my business on Google. With all of the scamming that's going on, I want to reassure my clients of my credentials and that I am who I am.
Nice. All right, next.
I think it's a good question though, because I struggle with that balance as well. Having another full-time job, it's like, okay, I have to service my clients. My marketing, my social media is decreasing a little bit, but there are a lot of organizations out there that allow you to hire assistants, per diem, hourly assistants. So I started looking into that because I knew, okay, my time, I have to market, but that's one, not where my strength is, and that's not where I want my time to be focused. But there are other avenues to assist in that area.
Yeah.
And we try to help with that too as a host agency, bringing you a lot of platforms that will help you with that, and bringing training to you so you could balance the training and your marketing. But it is a balance.
So this one, and I hope I'm saying this right, Cirillo Travel Group wrote, how do we move from selling general travel for anyone who comes to us to our niche only? I know, who was it that, Tamika, I think you had mentioned that.
Yeah. So I qualify my clients because it's not just whether or not I want their business or they're looking for a travel agent. I always ask, let's figure out if we're a good fit for each other. Because, I have to qualify whether or not we're a good fit. If you're looking to do a hotel in Seattle, then we're not a good fit for each other. Not that there's anything wrong with that or wrong with agents that do. I don't book domestic travel. So I've made that line in the sand, unless it's a repeat client, I'll do for them. But for new clients, I don't take on new clients that are looking for domestic travel. So you have to decide where to draw the line and stick to it.
Yeah, good point.
And, that's just it. If I have clients that are looking like, oh, I want to do all this kid stuff, I don't market kid-friendly resorts or events because that's not my niche. Do I book clients that have children? Absolutely. But I don't target that market because that's not my specialty. That's not my niche. So I think once you start targeting your marketing towards your niche, then that's what you'll attract.
And I think this is just a quick side note so we can jump into another question. But I think this is a great time where you can partner with other travel advisors. That way, if it's not your thing, you refer them to them and then they're going to refer clients to you. So it kind of gives you that great little loop of getting new clients through another way. But
that's exactly what I do.
I love
someone else.
Yeah, I loved your points there. Sorry, we have so many questions. I'm like, I just want to get to all of them.
That's great.
So I like this question. I think this is very interesting. From Lisa, what do independent travel agents do for personal or family health insurance? So definitely a different question, which I kind of like. So throwing that wrench in there for you, ladies.
I mean, mine will be very simple. My husband's in the military, so
Yeah. We discussed a lot of these ladies here have full-time jobs, but I mean, you would do what every business owner does. You would have to get an individual policy.
Yeah, and I mean, I know different states do different things. Like I'm in Massachusetts, so we have a program in Massachusetts. So I think it really depends on the state, and then just private insurance.
Right.
All right. So from Brittany, Do you have any books you recommend for travel agents? Bonus points if they're books about time management for travel professionals. I'm going to actually jump in real quick. Just to let you know, Brittany, if you go to our Pinterest, we actually have a board with a bunch of travel books on it. So if you want to take a peek there, and then, I mean, again, another shameless plug, you can always check our blogs out on our website. I mean, lots of great resources, a ton of stuff. I mean, quick reads, not a book.
Ton of stuff. I mean, look at all the links that's already
I
been
know,
shown.
right?
I just want to say something on that. As a new advisor to the industry, be careful of, there's a lot of free stuff out there. And if you're part of a host, you should be getting a lot of that already from your host. And then there's a lot of free stuff there too, like a host agency review, tons of information. You have to be careful that you don't just buy into everything. And you also have to be careful not to spend too much time on just reading and training without just jumping in there and doing your reservation, because you can get in this training paralyzation place. I see it happen to a lot of new agents in the industry, and you're just such a good student, but you haven't made a reservation yet. So you kind of, in this industry, need to get out there and do it and make that reservation too. And you kind of learn. I know I did, and I know many of you on the call learn as you do it too, don't you?
I'm going to do this one for Lori specifically. Hello, I am new to the travel business. Can I sign up for Levarte and gain new business opportunities?
Well, yes. First of all, I should take this moment to plug Levarte.
Yes.
It's levartetravel.com. And let me tell you, it's my shirt right here, Levarte. It's e-travel spelled backwards. E-travel. So that's how you always remember how to spell it, right? But it's Levarte Travel, and you can go there and you can register, and we will contact you. It's an interview process, and we'll have an actual conversation with you after you enroll and apply. But how will we help you grow your business? The same way I help these ladies, and Levarte has helped them with support and training and telling them where to focus and being there for them, drawing out their talents. Do we have a lead gen? We do, but it's small, and you kind of have to be experienced to get in that yet. And it's really just forming. So it's not a real strong program that we have yet. But we're going to teach you how to market yourself. We spend a lot of time on that. So would love to have you over here. And if you're serious about it, because we're also wanting people that are serious about becoming travel advisors. And you've heard today, there's work involved in it.
And you could end up on one of these webinars. I mean, come on. I just put up a QR code that goes straight to Levarte Travel's host agency review profile. So you can scan that, head on over, learn some more about them. And let's see, what else do we have? Okay, from Mindy. Are you charging fees for service? Did you start charging them from the beginning or add later once more experienced? And I'm just going to pick someone to answer this so we can quickly go through some more. So Tamika.
So like Sakina said, I didn't at the beginning when I first started, I did not. But once I realized that I was a valuable asset, I did actually start. So I don't charge for the consultation call like Christy. Once someone submits something, I do a consultation call. We talk about their travel plans, and then I send something to them and tell them if they would like to proceed and, continue, then there's a service fee, and then we go from there.
Perfect.
I like the word, and I know we're going fast, but I just want to realize her value. That's the important part, is you have to realize your value. And we talked about that in the last hour, telling them what to wear, doing the research. There's value to all of that. And so you shouldn't feel uncomfortable charging a fee.
So I'm going to consolidate Audra and Patty, where they talk about booking. So how much time though? Not long means what? I'm going on 4 months and haven't done anything or even gotten a bite. It's disheartening. And then Patty puts, I started in July and have made one booking for a friend. How long does it take for leads to start bearing fruit? I currently have about 35 in my DB, but only 2 have expressed interest. So I'm going to actually give this one to Tamika.
You just have to keep putting yourself out there. Like, you have to post daily, because people will forget. People don't travel every day. But if you're posting every day, when they're ready to travel, they'll see that, okay, she does travel. I have people that contact me only when I'm traveling, because it's like a reminder. They see me traveling and posting pictures, and they're like, oh yeah, she's a travel agent. Let me reach out to her for my trip. So don't get discouraged. Keep going. Keep posting.
4 months isn't
It
very
is
long.
not. That's not long.
It's not very
I
long.
went
No.
2
I
years.
say give yourself a year.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Easy year. So it's, everyone agree on the call that 4 months isn't
Not
very
long
long.
at all.
I'm proud of you for having 1 or 2 bookings in 4 months. That's
Right.
great.
Christy, I'll give this one to you. What would a reasonable travel fee charge be?
So my lowest fee is $100. And that's for someone that's doing one destination up to 5 rooms. Again, some of my clients are telling me that's not high enough, that I should increase it. And then I bump up to $150 if they're doing more than 5 rooms, multiple destinations. And then I bump up to $200 if it's a destination vow renewal or a destination wedding.
Nice.
And I find that the clients have not thought twice about paying that.
Yeah, that's good to know. Sakina, I'm going to give you the next question. Tips for adding this business on top of a full-time job.
Okay, so I don't know. I kind of feel like I got 5 full-time jobs. Okay. So of course I'm a military spouse. I just want to plug in there that my husband's actually due to leave us for a year. Then I work full time, and then I do travel full time. And the best thing that I can tell you is you need to create boundaries. You need to know what you're doing, how you're going to do it. Like right now, my hours are 12 to 5. I'll take calls, and then on my lunch break, I'm working travel. Sometimes in my meetings, hope ain't nobody here, but on my meetings, I'm looking at things, right? So, but really it is those boundaries. I still struggle with those boundaries. So it's not something that that you're going to just get into overnight, because there's sometimes that I'm just sitting watching TV. Someone will text me at 9:00 and I'll respond. I'm like, oh, I have the time. But then I realize that when I do that, I'm opening up this door for them to continue to reach out to me. So I am trying to get better with my boundaries because you need to set them, and just knowing what time you're putting aside for travel, what time you're putting aside for family, what time you're putting aside for that full-time job. It's not easy. I'm not going to tell you and fib to you and let you and say, oh, easy peasy. No, it's not. You really have to get into those boundaries, setting boundaries, making sure you're setting time right for yourself and your self-care. My self-care is traveling. So I'm traveling. I think this one, I'm looking at the calendar, this month out of 4 weeks, I was on a road 3. So, in my traveling, which I see a lot of the other advisors too, is even when we're traveling, we're working. So it's really up to you to just finding that balance and creating your boundaries. And don't forget about yourself. Self-care is important. So travel.
Balance is tough, but you know what I recognize in all 3 of you is the passion. And if you have a passion for selling travel like all of you do, you make time for it. And you're all talking about it when that question was asked and smiled really big. Okay. It was a big smile, like, yes, this is difficult, but you're smiling through it. It's not like you're rolling your eyes and negative about it. It was a positive reaction, but it is challenging, I'm sure. And it's about balance. But if you have the passion, I think you find the time for things you have passion for.
All right, so we are over our time. I'm going to try to get a couple more questions in. So the next one I'm going to do, ready? Sakina, then Christy, then Tamika. 1-word answer. Ready? Okay. What is the first social media platform you use to market your travel agency?
Instagram.
Christy,
Facebook.
Tamika.
Facebook.
All right. Let's see. From Lisa. I like this question. How do you have a conversation with a client who comes to you with a resort selected and you know it may not fit their personality? I know somebody mentioned this during the webinar. Who was it?
It was me.
Sakina.
Okay, so you can take this one.
Literally, it's one thing that I will say is when I speak to my clients, and I am professional, but I have the same personality that I'm giving you right now is what I give my clients, and I will tell them like, okay, that's a nice choice, but I'm going to actually send you something else that I want you to look at, and let me know how you feel about it. And one of the biggest things that I would say for everyone with your proposals, and this is me, of course everybody is different. I go to YouTube and I look at their like, let's just say it was Margaritaville. I'm doing a group trip to Margaritaville. I looked up Margaritaville, subscribe to them, and I take their videos of, when they first open and send it to them, just to give them, kind of that picture of what that resort looks like, and then give it to the resort that they asked me for so that they can compare it. And after we do that, I would say 9 times out of 10, they're going with what I have told them that I think you should
Power
do
of
this
persuasion.
one. Right.
Yeah, it's a good question, but you know what? It's kind of our responsibility.
Right.
And that's what people forget. We're not trying to sell up. We're not trying to get more money out of you. But if we don't tell you what we feel is a better fit for you, then we're not really being a very good advisor. That's one of the things we train on is not really cross-selling and upselling, but making sure that you're given all the options so they can
Right.
make their own decision.
All right. So last question, because we are really over, but I'm going to give this one to Lori because she brought this topic up. So what is your best favorite resource for researching culture, food, dress for new destinations?
Oh, wow. I go everywhere. I'm like crazy and I just go down a rabbit hole. And you'll be just so amazed at the resources that are out there for you. Of course, tourist boards. I always like going to the tourist boards website. It's one of my favorites too. They give so much information that advisors don't realize that are out there, as well as free marketing information. But and there's so much you need to find out. Not only what to wear, like in a country that I'm going to visit now, but also where to go eat, what to go do. And one thing is, we at Levarte have a vendor list in your Levarte hub. That's like your back office, that we try to list a lot of places back there too, resources for you to be able to go to find out. But that's, I just go down a rabbit hole and try to find out everything I can.
I love
And starting with the tourist board.
Nice. All right, ladies, I think that's a wrap. I know I kept you a little later, but I couldn't help it. I really wanted to get to all the questions. Thank you so much for being here. This was so wonderful. It was such a pleasure to meet everyone and hear about your experience and your love for travel and sharing all of that with our listeners.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this has been a blast.
Yeah,
huh,
I could
guys?
stay here all day talking about travel.
Right.
Right. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
This
Thank
was
you for
wonderful.
having us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. We will send out the link to this webinar so you can rewatch all the fun moments and relive our experiences. And again, thank you, ladies. And we will see everybody soon. We have Host Week coming up, by the way, in January. So we hope everybody will be back for that. I'm sure we'll see Lori because she is one of our favorites and always with us. And it was wonderful. So thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.